I don't know who came up with the idea to bring it back, but great job. As a driver, I'm super excited about the unique challenge to, try something new. And I've had the great opportunity of racing on Belle Isle for the last 10 years. Always love coming to Detroit. It is one of my favorite events out of the year. Certainly personally, being a representative of Chevrolet, getting to, drive our race cars with their engines in the back, but also being a Team Penske guy, Detroit's very special to all of us. So, like you said, we had an opportunity to win 2 years ago in 2019. We've got one more opportunity next year to win on Belle Isle, and then hopefully in 2023 we can have a shot at winning this race. But just so excited. I got to drive the track for about an hour this morning with pretty much everyone, and it really is a great layout. I think it's going to be fantastic for racing. So as a driver, that's the most important part. How good's the race going to be? And I think they've done a really good job. And I'm giving a couple notes, just a couple things that I want personally to my liking, so that I can have a little advantage. Come on, give me a little hometown advantage here. But it's really a tremendous effort, as you can tell by everybody, to engage the community and just make this a bigger and better event for the entire city. So, couldn't be more proud to be a part of it.
Well, it's too bad it has only one seat. I'd take a ride with you, but only for 2 blocks. You talked about this connection you have to Detroit, but I want to talk about your hometown a second, because you and Mr. Dinker and organizers witnessed this year's inaugural IndyCar race in your hometown of Nashville. Talk about the buzz and excitement of the city. Now, nobody there was excited as Madam President is here, but talk about what it was like in Nashville and what that meant.
We're going to take Madam President to Nashville, too. She's going to help us with that event, getting the energy up. But, no, it was tremendous. It was, for me, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. It's my home. I could have never dreamed of being a young kid running, an IndyCar race in my home streets. So I couldn't imagine growing up in the Detroit area and maybe making it to IndyCar one day and getting an opportunity to race here. That would be the equivalent. But it was really just an amazing feeling to see what it did for the city. I know what that impact was on our communities, and the energy and vibrance was really palpable. And I think that exact same thing will happen here for Detroit. And it can be very, very beautiful to engage the community like that, and to help small businesses, and also have a fun time during the summer months. So I've personally seen the positive impact that it can have. And one thing that wasn't mentioned, but there was a study done by the University of Michigan, and $77 million of positive impact to the economy here, which is a 20% increase of the race right now from Belle Isle. So only good things to come, I think, for the community, and just wait. Like the mayor said, that skyline shot is going to look even better in 2023 when we get it back here.
All right. Now, I see a lot of my former colleagues and competitors in the media here, so we're going to get a mic set up for you to ask some questions. But while you're doing that, Bud Dinker has a very special presentation that he's going to make right now that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, a couple things I want to acknowledge before I do that. I want to thank Cindy Paskey and Eric Larson, Dan Lepp, and Sandy Pierce. They were kind of my guiding lights there to understand how to work with the City Council and work with all the stakeholders in Detroit. So Cindy and Eric, I want to thank you personally for your leadership and effort in doing that. So thank you. I also want to thank, as Mayor mentioned, Akeem Berry. The mayor mentioned to me after we had lunch, he said, okay, the person you got to talk to today is Akeem Berry. And Akeem will figure out how to make it happen with Ron Brundage and his team. So I want to thank you both as well, too, personally, as the mayor mentioned previously. Thank you as well. Got a couple gifts I want to share, and I also want to talk about a couple of the things that we're going to do going forward with some charity as well. We provided a lot to Belle Isle, and Michelle knows that too, and we're not going to stop that. I'll talk about that in a second. But I have 2 gifts I want to provide the mayor and Madam President. Perhaps this one I can give Madam President may be useful in her as she goes back to the council meeting, but maybe not. So if I could have those gifts. So, Mayor Duggan, here's your helmet from us as well too.
Thank you.
And Madam President, here's yours as well as you go back to the City Council meeting this afternoon as well. All right, so thank you very much.
That is awesome. Now, Mr. Dinker, I also want you to talk a little bit about, we're going to have so much that it's going to be great for the city because of this, but there's some charitable giving that I want you to also mention.
Yeah, we've provided over $18 million of support to Belle Isle through these years, and that's what's so important for me and for Roger and our organization. Michelle Hodges and the Belle Isle Conservancy have done an amazing job on Belle Isle. Ron Olson, who's here today, the director of the Department of Natural Resources for Michigan, is an amazing leader in what he does across all the state parks that we're so lucky to have in our state, and Belle Isle is one of them. We're not going to stop giving back to Belle Isle, and I've committed to Michelle and to Ron that the Scott Fountain I take very personally in terms of the beauty of it. And besides ourselves and DTE, we've been a big part of why that flows every year. And I'm going to make a personal commitment to you, Michelle, and to Ron, that we're going to be part of that every year. We're going to see Belle Isle flow beginning in May, like we've always done. To the citizens of Detroit can use that all summer long. So you have my commitment to that, Michelle, and to Ron as well, too. So I'm very proud of that, okay? And then as we move downtown, of course, we're going to be providing benefit to other nonprofits and charities, too. And our team attended an important function last week that helps our first responders, our police officers, our firefighters. And I'm here to make an announcement today that we're going to be supporting our first nonprofit downtown as a result of moving downtown to to Patty Kukla and her team at the Detroit Public Safety Fund. And you're going to see our support come forward to you, to our first responders. This all started with Roger and myself back many years ago, when Roger was the impetus behind getting us 100 new police vehicles and 23 MS vehicles for our city. And it's come full circle now for us. So here we are back again, Patty, to help you and your organization. We plan to do that as a result of bringing the race back down Detroit. So Patty, thank you very much.
Let me put on my glasses because it's time for the media. And the mic is right here. Do we have someone who's ready to pop up? And can you join us at the mic, Chrissy, please? Thank you. And anyone else who wants to line up, the mic is over there instead of over here. So thank you.
Hi there, I'm Jamie from Channel 4. I just want to say Dan Campbell put the helmet on, if you guys want to put the helmet on.
I was just
Think about it.
I want that Mike Dukakis moment.
All right, my question is, I look through the media packet, and there's a lot of green for the streets that will be open during all of this. Was that a big deal for the city to keep it open during the race?
It was a genius of design, but yes, I mean, we still have a city to run, particularly on Friday, and to have found a way to keep the streets open, to keep the businesses open, and yet to make this course work was brilliant. I don't know how long it took you guys to figure that out, but it was great. How long did you work on that?
Well, we had a short period of time, Michael and I, to figure all of this out, and we did a lot of walking, Mr. Mayor, down here on Saturdays and Sundays without anybody knowing what we were doing down here to figure it out. And as Mr. Mayor said, as you come down on 375, you can still come into Jefferson on the left-hand lane. That'll stay open the entire time of our race. Imagine cars going down 15 feet from you at 180 miles an hour, and you're in the left-hand lane pulling into the Beaubien lot or into the International Tunnel or into the underground lot in front of the City Council building and the Mayor's building. So that's a big part of it. So anything north of Jefferson will still be open. And the old route went up Larned and Congress and Woodward, and you can't do that anymore. Our city's changed, much to the benefit of all of us. So that, obviously, the design was important in all of this because we can't disrupt business, you can't disrupt commerce, you got to keep traffic flowing. And now you can pull right in, get your parking spot here if you want, thousands of parking spots. People can come across from Canada, make a right on Jefferson, pull in a parking deck. How magical is that? So that's all part of the formula of what we brought back here in our design, and I think it'll work quite well.
And I want to add to that, I think it was an awesome idea because that was one of the things that the businesses complained about, that the streets were closed on the last time that the Grand Prix was here, and to have those streets open and open still to the public to be able to come down those streets and for the businesses to still be able to get the traffic, to get the people. I think it was something that, I don't know how they thought of it, but in order to sell me, I needed to see the route because I know what the citizens complained about, and I saw the route firsthand before I was sold on it, and I think it is awesome.
We drove the route, Madam President and I. She wanted to go faster, but I just couldn't get above the speed limit too often, so we had fun doing that as well.
I want to thank Jamie for that question. She has taught me so much about sports, and I'm going to keep my eyeglasses on so I can see. And now we have another question.
Hi there, I'm Mike from Auto Week, based here in Detroit. I guess this will be for Mayor Duggan. Infrastructure is such a huge word these days. The course itself, is there going to have to be a resurfacing for the whole course, or is that going to be a major project for next summer?
So Ron and Hakeem are the brains of the operation. There's going to need to be some small modifications, but I don't know if one of you guys wants to come up and address it.
I'll take that one, probably. Ron, if you don't mind. I've been enough aligned with these guys. We actually have 3 entities, interestingly enough, on our 1.7 mile track. The road in front of us here is General Motors, okay? Jefferson Avenue, most of that domain is the state, and the other parts are the city. So there are parts of it that are three entities that are involved. The good news is a lot of these roadways we have don't need to be touched. They're just fine. There's a few corners here and there, as we've seen. You know, the pit lane area we're going to have to modify. Out here, a little modification in front that General Motors is going to be focusing on. So the good news is it's shareable. We're also taking some of that responsibility for the Grand Prix as well. So we're all sharing in this as well too. But as Joseph mentioned, a $77 million economic benefit coming to our city the first year, 20% increase coming off of Belle Isle by having it back in Detroit. So some small investments that'll be needed, but the good news is those improvements will be used year-round for everybody to use, bike lanes as well as the cars throughout the course of the year. So very shared expense. Is that okay, Hakeem and Ron? All right, thank you.
Did we get to ask Joseph what some of those tips were that he plans to pass along? No?
Secret right now.
Roop Raj from Fox 2.
I just was wondering, first of all, congratulations on the effort. Apparently that dinner at Joe Muir went well, and we're all here because of that. But when you think a little bit about what this is going to look like in the summer of 2023, you know, we talked a lot about the summer of 2020 for a while, and we talked about how many great blockbuster events would all be coming one after another in the city. Then COVID hit. Give us an idea, kind of frame 2023 for us in terms of the summer, Mr. Mayor, and also Council President. What do you imagine that to feel like? Name the events, talk about the excitement, and how they play off of each other.
Go ahead between us if we could get them all, but certainly we start with the fireworks. The auto show will be summer or fall. I think that they still are working on that. What else have we got?
Movement.
Right, the Movement Festival. Who can forget Memorial Day weekend or right around there,
Right.
where I can hear them still in my head when I'm in my office.
We have Pride.
Right, the Pride Festival.
So you kick it off. You got the movement right here in Hart Plaza. The following week you got the Grand Prix. The following week you got Pride. 2 weeks later you got the fireworks. You got Rivertown in front of us here. It's just an amazing summer that we're going to have all downtown.
Roop, thank you for that trivia question.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex McLennan. I'm with 1019 WDET, the local NPR affiliate. Joseph, from a driver's perspective, I know this is kind of talked about. This is something that has kind of been come up with since your home race in Nashville in August. You mentioned going around the track for about an hour this morning. How much have drivers been involved to this point with the track layout? I know we've seen a couple different iterations, and can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think this is, you know, an updated schematic of the track. You know, when it was first announced that this was going to be happening, there was an older version of this, but this is early stages. I think actually, you know, I hadn't seen it in person until today, and truly, I was very impressed. I think we've actually in Detroit got a leg up on Nashville even. You know, Nashville was very much just trying to get it off the ground, and successfully we were able to do that, and now we can just improve. I think we can hit the ground running actually a lot better here. Some of that is just by, you know, the way the city's laid out. Honestly, most of these roads are very, very wide, very workable. I think the modifications that are needed are super small, you know, to Bud's point, which is a very big event, big help when you're trying to, you know, first start an event. But from a driving standpoint, I think this track is going to race really well. The highlight for me was Jefferson Street. You know, you have a 0.7 mile straightaway leading into a super wide hairpin. I mean, you can't get much better of a scenario from a racing product at a street course. It'll be very difficult to defend people that are behind you. And I think if you're a competitor that's trying to run through the field, you have the opportunity now to make that happen with that type of corner. So when I looked at it and I drove it, it excited me. It definitely seemed like something that was going to race very well. And I would have very critical feedback. If I did not feel that way, I would tell Bud right away so that we could change it. But I think they've come up with a really good plan, and it's going to race super well.
The other thing that's unique also is this will be the first time we've ever had a pit lane where cars will pit to the right and cars will pit to the left at the same time. They'll break apart, and they'll come back together some way, in a logical manner, I hope,
Yep.
at the end of it. So it'll be a very unique track as a result of having the first ever dual pit lane that no one's ever done before that we're going to do here in Detroit.
I like when we make history.
And second question, from General Motors' standpoint, how does what you guys can kind of do change with the track now being around your headquarters? Obviously, you're the title sponsor. Can you kind of talk about what's different for you guys? I'm sure there's some benefits there.
Yeah, I would say that, matter of fact, I saw Debbie Hoagie, who runs the facility here, along with Steve Kim, great partners. What I think is we have amazing assets here that I think we can lend to the event to make it better. Whether it's a media center for great access, customer access, guest access. So I think that's the big one for me is all the assets we have here that we can apply towards this event. And then the other thing is this is our world headquarters. Everywhere around the world, this is it right here. So to be able to have a world-class race with racers like Joseph Newgarden in the IndyCar series, plus the other series we'll race, for our employees and so many of our partners and suppliers to be able to race right here around our headquarters is a big deal. It's going to be very, very exciting. And what Bud and Joseph talked about on this track, there's some great passing zones here, as Joseph talked about, this dual kind of left and right pit area. It's been talked about in IndyCar for a long time, never been done. We're going to do it here. It's going to be one of the unique features that we'll have for this particular race. So we can't wait. And the other thing I would mention is 2023 is interesting because right now our engineering team, I mentioned Jim Danahy and Mark Stilo along with our propulsion team, they're designing a new engine that will debut in IndyCar for Chevrolet in 2023. 2.4 liters, direct injected twin turbo V6 from Chevy. We'll have about half the field. Honda will have the other half the field. And so that engine will generate, with the boost levels that we run at a course like this, about 800 horsepower. The car weighs about 1,700 pounds. And in performance, horsepower to weight ratio is a big deal. That's a great ratio. We like it. And then also IndyCar has a feature called push to pass, where for a limited amount of time you can actually add more horsepower, 80 to 100 more horsepower, to create amazing passing and excitement on the track. So it's all going to be a special year in 2023. That's an example of something that's coming from Chevrolet on the racetrack. And then as I mentioned in the back here, in the IMSA series, we run with Cadillac in the prototype category, and then the Corvette races in the GT category. So for us, it's going to be special to be racing our products and propulsion systems here in the city of Detroit around our headquarters.
Well, Jim, that push pass sounds like some Fast and Furious stuff to me. Okay, we have time for just two more questions. Step right up.
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Cedric Johnson. I am a member of the Chevrolet Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix Association team, and I just wanted to tell Bud and the Penske Corporation we are so thankful that you came up with that proposal to send to City Council. Madam President, I would like to tell you, as a volunteer in the city for 17 years, the enthusiasm that you displayed is what's shown all over the city, knowing that that race is coming back downtown. So I just want to thank you all. I just want to say, go Detroit, because we back at it again.
All right.
That is a perfect ending for a perfect announcement. We're going to borrow these fine folks for a couple of photos, but while we're doing that, I want to remind the audience to take a look at the amazing renderings of the circuit, and also check out those high-performance cars, the Cadillac DPI and Corvette and Grand Prix IndyCar. They're almost too fantastic to call just cars. And then we'll be right back with you for any media who need a quick one-on-one. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone who turned out for the 2022 Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix celebration. The final event will be on Belle Isle next summer, June 3rd through 5th, and then mark your calendars for the event returning to downtown Detroit the weekend of June 2nd through 4th. I am Rochelle Riley, Director of Arts, Culture, and Entrepreneurship for Mayor Mike Duggan, and I can tell you that one of the things my office will be doing is making this event real for children. Thank you.
Very good.
Madam President, I'm going to
Drivers, start your engine!